G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we have a lot to cover. We had one of the biggest snake hittings we've ever seen on NA East. We now have Saf and Stretch dropping Avery to pick up Khanada, which is obviously going to start a massive chain reaction now. Who's Booga going to play with? Who's DGen Age is going to play with? Who's Skittles going to play with? What's Nosh doing? I'll cover everything we know and also just some good guesses I'm going to make on where these teams and players might fall. Also, we have some leaks coming up, or not even leaks because they're pretty much confirmed that we might be getting a new Mythic item which we've never seen before. It looks really interesting. We're gonna have Coral Castle potentially destroyed and replaced with a new biome. It's like a low gravity kind of area, which has me super excited. So I'll kick off the NA East pro scene news, talk about all the new teams, and at the end of the video we'll talk about how season 7 is gonna shake up in the next few weeks, because I'm excited for both these things. Before you guys start making jokes in the comments, I know you already are. Saf actually chose that photo to be used in the thumbnail. I went to use the old ghost photo. I'm sure you've seen it. And man, this does my man so dirty. I had to include an actual updated photo of just how good Saf is looking these days. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I know the thumbnail looks a little bit scuffed, but I'm not using that ghost image anymore. Let's jump into all this NA East and whatever's going on. I've talked about these before, but if you don't know what a snake hitting is, it's basically the term where one player or one team ditches a player, picks up a new one, and it starts a chain reaction of teams snaking, dropping each other, picking up new players, all that. This one's really big though, because you've got to remember, Saf, Stretch, and Avery came third in the most recent FNCS, which means they were guaranteed qualified into the grand finals of the next trio FNCS. By now splitting, they've given up that qualification spot. A lot of people asking, does that then roll down? No, it does not roll down to 4th place. It means that for NA East next trio FNCS, we are going to have an extra reboot round. We are going to have 4 instead of 3, and that is how the extra qualification spot will be decided. It doesn't roll down. Same as happened in a few other regions. Last FNCS, the one before it, one of the teams that came top 3 in NA West, they split up, which meant that NA West had 4 reboot rounds. So I wanted to clear that up quickly as well. But we did have Stretch and Saf decide to drop Avery to pick up Khanada instead. Now, this started off with Saf. A lot of people thought he was actually quitting, and I want to clear that up. Saf is not quitting. He's tweeted out, big news regarding my career, stay tuned. And obviously reading that, people were freaking out like, oh my gosh, what's happening? He said, decided to take my career in a different direction and become one with the peace. Saf x Stretch x Khanada. Now, obviously as well, Stretch had something to say. He said Lazy Lakes, so we know they're still going Lazy Lakes. Of course, they're still going Lazy Lakes. And this team is an interesting one. A lot of people asking, you know, what are my thoughts on this? Khanada is one of the best fighters in the world and arguably one of the best players in the world. So, I mean, picking up Khanada is going to be insane for any team. I also wanted to put in there that Avery is also ridiculous. I think Avery is one of the most underrated players in NA East because he always performs so well with other big names. Everyone always seems to think that he's getting carried, but if you actually look at the common denominator, Avery performs well in every single team he plays in. He pretty much is always getting top 5 FNCSs. You can't get carried to that, and you can't just say, oh, he's just playing with people better. There's a reason why they're playing with him. He's phenomenal. I know what you're probably thinking. Well, then why did they drop him? Well, luckily for us, Stretch did clear this up. He said, by the way, I know Avery, you're going to read this and you have me blocked, but no bad blood. For people wondering, Avery is an incredible player and super smart. He deserves so much more respect than he gets. The only reason we split up was because me and Avery had bad vibes together. Seriously insane, second most consistent FNCS player, and just in general an unreal grands player, and basically won us one of the games. It just came down to me and him not getting along. And I love that from Stretch. I really do, because when big top tier players who have a massive amount of respect, like Saf and Stretch, drop someone, it builds up that reputation like they're not good or there's a reason they dropped them. So I really like Stretch to come out, set the record clean. Avery is phenomenal. He'll be amazing in any team. You're lucky to have him. We just don't get along. I love that. And again, I know Stretch has a weird reputation in the scene, and especially with me, anytime I tweet something, Stretch will normally come back with some kind of hate comment, and everyone always gets confused about this. Stretch is one of my favorite pros in the scene. He's got a weird complex, and he says some weird stuff, but he's a guy who I believe truly says what he wants to say rather than what he thinks people want him to say, and he's always brutally honest. Half the time, he's taught when he's memeing with my tweets and making fun of me, it actually makes my tweets do better and brings more attention to them. He usually only does it to my tweets tweets where it's like, you know, my stream's live or a sponsor post. He does it deliberately. I just throwing that out there because people seem to get confused. Stretch is one of my favorite pros, and so is Saf. I'm really happy to see that Saf isn't quitting. When people started coming in my stream and saying Saf was quitting, I started freaking out. Like, teams splitting up is one thing, but when someone's leaving, it had me really scared. Saf is here to stay. Saf, Stretch, and Khanada is going to be absolutely ridiculous, but you got to remember, Degen Age's Skittles just dropped Skittles for Khanada. That means that is now no longer a thing. Degen Ages are left high and dry, and I can't imagine Skittles is now going to go play with them after he was already dropped when, if you guys didn't watch my video, it kind of caught him off guard. They did phenomenally well in FNCS, very easily could have won FNCS, and they still dropped him. So I don't think Skittles is going to give them another chance. Does this mean we're now going to see Booger and Avery come back together? I think that's highly likely. Booger was playing with Nosh and potentially Skittles. Maybe that's still a thing. Maybe, you know, Avery comes in there. Booger and Avery have played together in the past. They got a top 5 in what, not last FNCS, the one before. So they have the potential. They've played together before. We might see Booger and Avery back together. I don't know where all the pieces are going to land. Degen Age is obviously phenomenal as well. And normally when we see these Snakenings, they break up big teams, but these are some big, like these are like the best teams in NAE. So we already saw once Khanada left Bucky and Macwood, they picked up Clicks, which left Booger by himself. So all the Snakenings so far have been at the very top level, like the top 5 teams in NA East. And today it was actually really good. Clicks had his comeback to streaming. I was watching the solo scrims. He was playing with Bucky and Macwood. They were messing around a little bit. Some people got a bit funny because, you know, they were jokingly teaming in scrims, like Bucky and Clicks was teaming on Macwood. Like, they were having some fun with it. I don't want to create drama out of that. It was scrims, and they're only affecting each other's games. They weren't teaming on other players. They were just messing with each other, and it was good to see. Honestly, the vibes in that team seem phenomenal. The content seems hilarious. I'm genuinely so excited and happy to watch that team, and I think, honestly, Stretch with Khanada is going to work really, really well. I hope they don't clash personality-wise. If they don't clash, that is an absolutely disgusting team. Stretch, Khanada, and Saf is just going to be insane. I know they are, so I'm excited to see it. The team drops, obviously Avery is really the only player who's ended up the worst out of this. Degen Ages as well, but I mean, Degen Ages dropped Skittles for Khanada, so it's kind of only fair. You can't get mad when you drop a player for a better chance to win despite having good chemistry, and then get annoyed when it happens to you, you know? So I guess we'll see. I also want to clear this up for anybody who saw it. We did have Centered tweet out a bunch of random stuff. He tweeted out a whole bunch of teams. It was Stretch, Saf, Skittles, Avery, Seam, Booger, Degen Ages, Nosh, Bucky, Khanada, Rise, Degen Ages, Skittles. He started backing up again. Stretch, Khanada, LF1, Booger, Avery, Nosh. He said, "This is dead serious. I have inside info." Don't ever trust Centered's tweets. Centered, I love you if you're watching this. Centered's one of my favorite pros. You guys know this. My man's hilarious. He impression farms. He's deleted these tweets as well, so at least he's not creating too much confusion. But a bunch of people, even after he deleted them, kept coming into my stream asking about these teams. They are not real. You guys have to be careful whenever anything happens like this. Of course, pros are going to take the chance to get easy impressions on Twitter and try to convince things that aren't true. Everything I've talked about in today's video, I've verified with the players. I know that's what's happening with the players as of right now. It is real. Anything else after that, you can trust it if you want to, but I don't trust it until I actually get some kind of an answer from one of the players on the team in DMs away from Twitter. A lot of you guys have been asking me what's going on with solos, who's dropping where, who's winning the scrims. I've been doing a bunch of viewing parties on my stream for them, and they've been really fun to watch. The games have been phenomenal. So that video is coming. I wanted to wait until a little bit closer after the qualifiers, but a lot of you guys in stream said you wanted a solo update video. If you would like that, let me know in the comments. Chuck a like on the video just so I know, and I can make one. I mean, they're easy to make. It's just I'm going to have to remake it once we have all the qualifiers, once we're close to the 20. But if you want to know what's going on now, maybe figure out what the good job spots are, where the pros going, I'm happy to make that. Just let me know, because I originally thought maybe you guys wouldn't want 2 of them, you just want 1, but at least my stream viewers really want that. So I just want to make sure my YouTube viewers do. Now, let's jump into these leaks. And now these are very reliable leaks with good sources and good evidence. So that's why I'm excited to mention them. They're coming from Hypex, who is obviously one of the most notable and respected leakers in the scene, but they also come with a whole bunch of background evidence. So let's kick it off with this new upcoming mobility item codenamed Alpaca. It creates a no gravity area when you throw it. It launches you in the air if you keep jumping. Some tags, if anyone's interested, is alpaca.jump, alpaca.recently jumped, alpaca.in area, and a packer.gravity multiplier. Also, Hypex has included the photo. You would have seen this in, I believe it was the Battle Pass trailer, or it could be in the gameplay trailer, but it was 100% in the trailer at the start of the season, and it caught a lot of people's attention. If I'm looking at a low gravity kind of crazy looking weapon, I'm looking at that as well. That's exactly what that looks like. And with the current season, I mean, it fits as well. It's aliens, it's UFO based, it's really like advanced technology, but that's not it. I think gravity is going to become a really, really key theme of this season when it comes to mobility. I already talked in a couple of videos ago about how I thought Tilted Towers was going to come back, and we've got confirmation from Epic that the map and big things around the map are going to change regularly in this season. This looks like it's going to be one of the changes, but Hypex also tweeted, we might also get a no gravity biome that behaves the same way as the item from my previous tweet. It's probably going to be the middle of the map since it mentions swimming, which would make sense. It also mentions a consumable that can be used to craft probably those purple trees. So thinking that maybe the purple trees around the map have an effect, because right now if you farm them, they give you nothing and they look kind of cool, but it would make sense that they're actually for something. But to back up this evidence even more, Hypex actually included a whole bunch of audio files that are in the game right now that, I mean, just listen to these. I'll play them in the background while I talk, but you'll still get the idea of it. That sounds like low gravity. That sounds like the noises you'd expect to make when you're in low gravity. So that might be from the item, that might be from the biome, it might be from both. Fortnite's big on this. Once they include one mechanic and it's an item, why not include a biome? So you can have it while you're in that biome, but then you can carry it. It's like the hop rocks you used to be able to find on the ground, and then after a while you're able to carry them. And now you have the hop fish. Fortnite's very big on doing this, and I think we could get it. And honestly, how do I feel about this? It sounds really fun in arena. It sounds really fun in pubs. If it's just a biome for the most part, which means that if you don't want to drop there in competitive, whatever, if an end game ends there, that's going to be a bit interesting. It's been a long time since we've had like guys at end games, since we've had like Polar Peak end games. Like, yeah, we have the Misty Mountains and we have like water zones, but going through different biomes, like, can you guys remember back in the day playing scrims or tournaments and rotating through prop hunt zones? The funniest thing ever, but the most infuriating. I remember as soon as I saw endgames go through prop hunt areas, I would, and heaps of pros would go into their keybinds and turn off their crouch bind. Because the amount of times you've been in a box fight, you're about to win the cash cup, you go to crouch and you turn into a couch. Like, it was so frustrating, but it was funny. Do I want that to come back in a competitive? I don't know. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of craziness, and I'm asking for a bit of fun and craziness with this season. I don't want to see like an FNCS grand final lost because of that, but everyone's going to play the same biome. Everyone's going to play the low gravity. So I don't know. We'll see. But as far as the item goes, I kind of hope that item is maybe a mythic, or it's quite difficult to find. I think one of the biggest issues with a lot of the new items added into Fortnite at the moment is they're too easy to find. Like the recon scanner and the railgun, I think if you had them as mythics or really, really rare, would be fun, cool items. They'd feel rewarding when you get them. You find them everywhere now. I've already talked in a recent video about how you can balance them, because I think they should be balanced. I don't think they should just be removed from the game. I don't like this mentality that, oh, it's kind of broken, I don't like it, get rid of it. No, balance it. Otherwise, we're just going to go back to having ARs, shotguns, SMGs, and nothing fun in the game. But if this is a difficult item to find, like a mythic or something, I think that'd be really cool, because we have one mythic in the game right now, and it's an assault rifle that I would honestly run like a green AR instead of anyway. Like, it's really, in my opinion, quite a terrible gun. So having a fun, really strong mythic in the game could be really cool. I've also talked about how I genuinely think the railgun or the recon scanner or both should be mythics. They are the perfect definition of a mythic. They're very strong, but when there's only one of them, they're nowhere near as broken. Like, yes, the railgun's annoying, but that's what you want. You want your mythic to feel strong. And I love the idea when there's mythics in the game that do something, that lets you do something new. It's not just an assault rifle that does more damage. It's an entirely new item that gives an entirely new element of gameplay, shooting through walls or seeing people with recons. I don't think we're going to see Epic go that way and reintroduce the recon or the railgun as mythics, but I really hope this is added as a mythic, or if it's not added as a mythic, it's nowhere near as busted as those ones. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I'm very excited for some changes. Hypex also announced, and this was a little while ago, that it looks like Coral Castle will get destroyed at some point and possibly replaced, maybe because of the mothership. So if we're gonna get a biome, maybe it's not center of the map. Maybe it's at Coral Castle. I know it mentioned swimming, so maybe it floods back in. Maybe there's the swimming and the low gravity. It would be kind of annoying having both those combined, so I don't know. But again, another leak confirming we are gonna get major map changes. Maybe when I talked about Tilted Towers coming back, I wasn't wrong. Maybe it's just in the wrong spot. Maybe it's not Bony Burbs, maybe it's Coral Castle, or we're just getting an entirely new POI. I don't know, but this does fit all the evidence we have that it looks like Epic Games knows the map hasn't changed enough. They want it to change more, and they're saving that throughout the season. I already talked about this. Again, I keep saying this in another video. I'm sorry I keep doing that, but Stark Industries didn't start off in the season. Stark season only started halfway through or later in the season. The season didn't start with Stark, so we could see a massive meta map-changing change in the middle of the season, which in my opinion would be phenomenal. Alright guys, that does it for another video. If you enjoyed it, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.